If you're a tutor with a packed schedule and a growing list of lesson plans to build, then AI might be the tool that you need. And no, it's not cheating. It's working smarter to save you time. I'm an executive function tutor who's working with multiple students across different subjects and grade levels, and I used to spend hours creating lesson plans, reviewing new material, and making practice tests from scratch. Then I learned how to use AI effectively. And let me tell you, it's not about replacing tutors like you and I, it's about saving us time and empowering us to do what we do best, like having teachable moments with students. If you're new here, my name is Presh, and I share tips and tricks to help students and families feel less overwhelmed and more in control. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why you should use AI in the first place and examples that I have used with my students to save me hours of time. So, why should you use AI as a tutor? I have 4 reasons for you. Number 1, it can save you a lot of time when creating lesson materials and your lesson plan. For example, if you have many students you're working with from different grade levels and subject areas, when you use AI, you can have it create practice problems that you can do during your session. Let's say you have a 4th grader who's learning how to add and subtract fractions. You could create the material from scratch, which might take you 15 to 20 minutes, or you can use AI to create those practice problems for you, which can probably take the AI 30 seconds to build, or less than that. Number 2, you can easily relearn material using AI. Let's say that you are about to work with a student who needs to know the differences between animal cells and plant cells. And let's say that you're not 100% confident in what those differences are. So you can prompt AI to give you those differences and to even give you those differences in specific to that student's grade level. When you're working with them, you can speak their language a little bit better so that it clicks more for them. The only caveat with using AI to relearn material is that it sometimes hallucinates. So if you're catching that what you're reading isn't fully making sense, this is when it's really good for you to check other sources, whether it's YouTube or other articles in Google. Number 3, you can use AI to create project and essay examples to give you an idea of what your student should create for their big assignment. This is so useful, especially when your students haven't started this big assignment, because when you see the example, ideally it'll give you ideas of how you can support your student to go from step 1 all the way to finishing that big assignment. My last and most favorite reason is that you can easily use AI to create practice tests. If you have any students who are struggling with test anxiety and you've seen that extra preparation and by working on extra practice problems help them, then using AI to create these practice quizzes and tests may be helpful for them. As you may know, AI's responses are as good as its prompt. So if you're able to give it a study guide or a previous practice test or a quiz, then it can recreate another version of that your student can use to prepare them for their next exam. Hopefully you have a few ideas on why you should use AI. So now let's see what these prompts actually look like. For all of these examples, I will be using ChatGPT, and currently ChatGPT does allow their chats to be shared only if there are no images in the chat. So for any of my prompts that I've used where I didn't upload an image, I'll make sure that those are available in the description below. So for my first example, it's with my 8th grader who was struggling to start their English essay on why their name is their name. When I was preparing for this session, I included the English essay instructions and I asked ChatGPT to come up with questions that I can use during my session to ask my student to think more about why their name is their name, as well as more about their family, cultural, and identity values that can kind of tie into the prompt. With those questions that ChatGPT helped me brainstorm, they were super useful when I did meet with my student because it helped him get a little bit unblocked on just answering the question, why is my name my name? But now he had a different set of questions that he can brainstorm on and start his essay with. My next example is using AI to help me relearn 9th grade math material. Before meeting with my 9th grader, he sent me a photo of these math problems that he found challenging. So what I did to prepare for that session was I uploaded that image into ChatGPT and I asked it to give me a step-by-step walkthrough of how to do one of the problems. When I read through its step-by-step explanation, it clicked to me on how to actually solve for the missing angle length when you have 3 different side lengths of a triangle. And I took some notes to kind of help me better prepare for that session. The only caveat with relearning material when using AI is you might just have to double check its work to make sure that it's accurate. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're not feeling 100% confident in what it's providing you, taking the extra 5 minutes to check on YouTube or check on Google if its process was right could be helpful. And when I go on YouTube, what I usually just do is whatever the math topic is, I'll just put on YouTube like how to solve missing angle length. And usually I'll find a step-by-step video walkthrough, and then I can compare and contrast that with what ChatGPT is showing me. And because I was able to use AI to relearn the material and it was accurate, it did save me a lot of time with the extra research. In my last example, my student and I used AI to create a Spanish practice test. I did this during my session with my student where I would share my screen and together we would upload the study guide and homework problems that they had for their Spanish class, and we would prompt ChatGPT to create a practice test with I think 20 to 30 fill in the blank questions and paragraph-based short answer questions, because I think that's what my student thought would be in their exam. And at the end, for ChatGPT to create the answer key. And we made sure that the answer key was at the very end so that my student wouldn't see it and be distracted by it. You can see the results here has those fill in the blank problems and then the answer key at the bottom. And why I decided to do this with my student during our session was that her school is very AI forward, and her school is teaching them ways on how they can use it for learning. And I also, as a tutor, it's really my goal for students to use tools to help them become more independent. And the last catch about doing these practice exams with answer keys is that sometimes the AI could have the wrong information. When this happens, I think it's really a good opportunity for you to have those teachable moments with your students to identify those misinformation and what your student thinks is the right answer, because with that it does help reinforce what they know, and at the end of the day they're the ones that have the information, they're the ones that know how to solve these problems better than the AI. Hopefully you found it helpful to learn more about the reasons on why you should use AI and to actually see what those prompts look like, whether it's preparing for a session or doing the prompts directly with your students during your tutoring session. In the future, I am thinking about creating a video on the ethics of AI in education. I want to try to answer questions like, how do we ensure that students don't cheat when using AI, where they're copying and pasting its responses for their homework submissions? And there are also some AI tools that censor information, so what does that look like for learning? And another topic that we tried to cover today is, should we trust AI if it hallucinates? So if those questions are of interest to you, let me know in the comments so that I can start to plan out what that video can look like. In the meantime, my next video will cover some of the reasons that I think educators are using ChatGPT in the wrong way. Make sure to watch that if you found this video helpful, and thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Peace.